that's building up to that final scare. And that's why that's why that series is successful. I mean, they might repeat the same thing, but people love it. And people do love and they do love the haunted house feel of it. It's fun. This movie right here, all those demonic possessions, like I said, before I even got in here, I wasn't really trying to judge the movie before I saw it, but my biggest fear was addressed. I've seen this shit. I don't know how many times I need to see, the devil getting up in a bitch and they playing Twister, I mean, if you ever play Twister, you better hope Satan ain't at your house, because he's going to win every time. He's going to get up in your girlfriend, and she's going to beat everybody.
I'm going to look at Satan and you go, you're a fruit roll-up. You're a pretzel.
But and the other thing
it does seem like the lesson of the movie is, if you think somebody's possessed, just let them stay over there and don't go near them.
And just leave them alone.
Even if they're crazy, don't go visit them. What will you gain from that?
All I can say, look, if you're desperate and you're looking to get laid, go find somebody who's possessed. They'll want to fuck you and do all kinds of dirty shit. They're begging for your dick.
They'll talk a good game.
But demons up there, they'll be as I'm telling you, I said it before and I say it again, I want my girl to be possessed.
Yeah, you see them girls twisting their bodies in all kinds of ungodly ways. You're like, oh yes.
Oh hell yeah.
Turn that camera off.
I'm gonna get a Ouija board tonight and just pray for a demon to come. Demon, come and possess my chick tonight so I can fuck the shadow away in ways I never had before.
So I can tell my friends, I fucked a demon.
And you ain't never had no sex like demons.
That's right. You ain't lived.
And the other thing is, we get it. Demons just talk shit. All right, I mean, that's what they do. They get into somebody. Maybe it's just me, because they make me angry, actually. Because that's all demons do. They get into somebody, start twisting them around, and look at you like, fuck your mama in hell. I'm like, really? You don't need no priest to come in here. Get a nigga out the ghetto and have him talk about their mamas. He choked the devil at that bitch, man. And that's and we see this all the time, the contortions, the demons talking vulgar to people. We've even seen the bleeding from the crotch. Which is what we see in this movie.
I saw it on Saturday Night Live when Richard Pryor was doing that sketch about it. Yeah, I mean,
the climbing up the walls and all that kind of stuff. I don't mind it. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it. It's what people really want to see when it comes to exorcism movies, because I mean that's scary to them.
Yeah, I mean from the documented exorcisms, not that they're actually real, but that's where these come from.
And I don't want to begrudge an audience for getting that. I just don't think that there's enough scares surrounding this movie to make these certain exorcisms worthwhile. But that's just me.
There's nothing that makes it stick out from any other exorcist movie. Sure, you get your cheap scares, which half the audience is either going to be into it or they're going to be laughing their ass off about it.
Yeah.
Especially when moments are supposed to be tense and scary, when they go, oh yeah, I remember when you fucked your dad or whatever, and you get somebody like laughing. Yeah. Well, you got one person right next to you like scared shitless, like, oh shit, did you hear what she said? And then you got another guy laughing his ass off, like, I mean, it's confusing. It's like being in a madhouse, because that's how I felt tonight. I really felt like I was in a sane asylum, because I mean, I got people either laughing or they're freaking out. They're going, oh my God. And I'm like, wow, I need some fucking Advil right now, because my head is pounding because I got some crazy old bitch on the screen, like literally screaming her head off for like 10 minutes for no reason, just to creep out the audience.
I actually thought that was kind of cool at the beginning when the mom was...
I thought it was cool when I saw it in the trailer.
Yeah, exactly. That's like what we saw in the trailer.
Period.
You know what, though? I will say this.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I know.
Just being tricky about that shit. Just being an asshole about it. Yeah. But I really would like a demon to one time tell a priest, let me suck your cock. And the priest looks around like, okay. No, wait, I'm just kidding. But man,
I've seen it actually.
Can't you do that?
Yeah,
you're too old.
Yeah. Corey, you're not visiting enough porn sites. It's out there.
You don't ever let me walk in there. I'll be like, all right, shit, I'm horny as that. But again, it's hard for me to gauge an audience. And speaking of Paranormal Activities, I would love to see how the movie is going to perform, because it was bought by $1 million by Paramount. Their cheap division.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can say that again.
Well, they got a guy. He's working in the janitor's closet, acquiring the cheapest movies he can find.
He bought it from the trunk of his car.
I know. It looks so generic. Remember those black and white labels, the generic brands? I mean, I'm surprised they just didn't have a mountain and it said film at the bottom.
It was that generic.
I know.
Generic exorcism movie.
Yeah.
But I think the division is called Insurge, and they bought it for $1 million. I mean, it's $1 million they bought it for. All they have to do is make $2 million on the first weekend, and it's like,
and here comes the sequel.
And they're putting their arms around Leon and looking at you and like, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, okay? We don't care.
In fact, Leon, we're gonna get them if you do like it. We
got more shit to sell Leon. He's gonna buy our cookies. He's gonna buy all that shit.
And we got Exorcist cookies, and Devil Inside cereal. We got the Devil Inside action figure. That ain't what you want.
Devil Inside pretzels and fruit roll-ups.
With the NXS soundtrack. You want all this shit. We don't give a fuck about you and Coles. We're gonna sell this shit no matter what. So they're hoping for this movie to open enough to just even get the budget.
And it will. They will.
And I think it will.
They will.
And like I said, it's really hard for me to gauge. I'm not even going to go by that audience because I don't know. But if I really had to bet on it, I just don't think that there's enough there to entertain. I mean, for these kind of movies, I think there has to be an element of fun. And this movie tried so hard with that realism. But I will say this. I do give it credit for building that mystery at the beginning of the movie. And that's why I'm so upset because I really was brought in, and I really was admiring the movie for that documentary feel. They explain the camera angles that are set up.
Yeah.
They have people that sit around, and I talked about the improvisation in the middle of the movie, but at the beginning, I felt like it was very real. There's tables where people are sitting around having debates about demonic possession, and I found that fascinating. I was like, I'm glad to bring in a level of intelligence.
That was like that was the better part of the film. And it was the moment where I was like, oh shit, I'm about to eat all my words. After what I said about that trailer, oh fuck, oh well.
Now,
hey,
you heard that, folks. He was accepting it was good. The other part of his brain said,
well, you know what I mean?
No, I can't let this happen.
Okay, well the thing is, it was decent. I was like, it was like, all right,
you did not trap yourself.
I know. I was like, all right, I can live with that. But as soon as those exorcisms started happening, I was like, thank God, woo! Because there's a part.
You have exorcisms.
Yeah, there's a part where it's just like, okay, just lodge. It's like, okay, you're so good at interviewing people. So what? Anybody can do that. But when it comes to the whole possession and things that happen after that, things that happen in this movie between where, there's a scene where something really horrific happens and it's dealing, the situation happens inside a church and something really bad happens. And then the next scene, it's like, okay, why is this guy just walking around? Like, that's a pretty big fucking deal. Like, how in the hell is somebody just going to let that guy mosey on out of that church after what just happened? And it was just like, okay, now you completely lost me. Logic. And there's moments in the film that are like, there's small moments in that film that are like that where someone like me, I don't like to overanalyze, but there's things that were just so obvious where it's like, really? You guys didn't think to write something better for that?
Yeah, as smart as what they did to set up the movie to address all those complaints that people have started to and things that people have started to recognize and start to become keen on in these found footage movies, they slipped up and messed up themselves. I mean, they always get to a point where the urgency happens in the movie and they can't put that fucking camera down.
No.
To save their lives, no matter what. They're in a hospital talking about how they need to be in the hospital room watching that girl, making sure everybody's safe. And that asshole is still there filming, with that camera, and nobody has really been able to address that yet. I'm waiting for the movie where the camera is like surgically implanted in somebody's face, and they can't stop filming
with an accident.
Yeah,
like, the only way we can save him was to put this camera inside his head.
Yeah, I'm wondering, and I'm still wondering, like, what kind of fucking batteries are you guys using for these cameras? I can't even keep my VHS camera on more than 5 minutes.
I know.
What the hell are you using?
I can't keep my phone on for that long. Yeah, what battery shop are y'all shopping at? But yeah, I hate to do it because there is a lot of stuff that started well in this movie, but man, at the middle of the movie, I really did feel like they were not only did I feel bored, I just felt like they were trying too hard, and trying that hard just pulled back any sense of illusion that they were trying to have. And that combined with everything that I've seen before, nothing here to make everything that I've seen feel original or fun or exciting or scary. Just leads me to give this some more bullshit.
Okay. Well, I clearly didn't feel the way you did, Matter of fact,
Clearly.
It kind of gave me the stuff. I mean, I was kind of more eating my words because it gave me the things that I felt like I've been missing in the other movies. This is one of the first of these found footage movies where, I mean, okay, certainly Cloverfield is the first. Let's just say, except for Cloverfield, let's just put that asterisk on everything. Like, I'm used to going to these movies and just not liking the characters at all. Like, they just can't die soon enough for me. They have no depth. They're annoying. And here, I was, you know what, the girl Isabella Rossi, I was like, you know what? As much as I laughed at her premise in the trailer, I get it. I'm with this. And I liked just about all the characters. You know, even those priests, they were a little, you know, out there, but they would be for what they were. All the conceits of what they set up worked for me. And even the fact that, like, okay, I could see where it'd be slow and not moving to other people, but I was like, you know what? I like that it's not jumping around and doing a lot of crazy shit. It is more like a real documentary. They set these things up. I am going to end up giving it a high rental because co-host brought up something that I thought was important, and it was the way the audience reacted to where you did have some people scared and other people laughing their ass off. And I'm kind of like, wow, I could enjoy this so much more if this room wasn't full of assholes.
You're right.
Who don't know how to, like, I had people next to me. I had a dude who had the loudest bag of chips I could have ever heard.
I heard that shit too.
He kept talking to his girlfriend. People below me had an iPad on and talking. There's people laughing at parts that they shouldn't laugh on. I was like, you know what? As much as I have always loved watching movies in the theater, I'm thinking home might be the way to go. And it certainly was a movie I was like, you know what? It's something you always say about watching something at home and getting scared. And normally I don't feel that. But watching this, I was like, you know what? I could feel that. And I don't believe in exorcism, but I was like, you know what? They're doing a good job of bringing these home to me. As far as like doing things I've seen before, it's like, well, I think there are certain rules. It's kind of like, you know, if you're going to show them, you can't see a movie about Zeus and go like, oh, great, a thunderbolt again. It's just part of the mythology. But for me, it worked. If I was to see it at home, I was like, wow, that took me on the ride that I wanted, I could believe in. So, yeah, it's a high rental to me.
Okay, well, you made a fantastic point about the audience that you're subjugated to when you see these movies, because every one of these movies, I've almost had a bad experience because, yeah, you got people who all of a sudden it's like they feel like they're at home watching a home movie.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't know when to shut the fuck up. Or like the girl that was sitting next to you, Korey, who was just like, oh my God. Just like at the last like part of the movie, she was like, oh my God, what's going on?
I know the
look out,
was
look out.
the shit out those girls. They start out kind of like, oh, no. And in the middle of them like, oh, I can't believe this happening. And at the end of them like,
I know. They were like laughing and screaming and laughing. He's like, oh, you know what's going to happen. And I'm like, really? Okay.
No, there was one point where they were getting out of hand. I did say shh.
Yeah, but I saw that.
These people are being affected by the movie. They're scared and they talk and get nervous. So I let it go myself.
Yeah.
It really doesn't bother me.
But for somebody who, you know, if you want to feel the intensity of what's going on, yeah, these are better watched at home. They really are. But saying that though, I'm going to give it some old bullshit. And let me tell you,
I'm shocked.
It just there was nothing new. I really couldn't like have a bond with any of these characters, even the daughter. Like I really felt no sense the relationship between her and her mother. I felt like there was no relationship really there, besides for her to just like have this guy come over and film her mom being crazy. These priests, I mean, they were the only two that I was somewhat having a connection with, and at some point that connection got lost because the movie just ended up becoming a silly farce almost. It became a cookie cutter, and I hate that. I really hate it, especially with a series like this. The only fucking way am I going to get interested in seeing one of these movies again is if they get the black preacher in to have him fight the goddamn demons, because, I mean, you know, that at least is going to be entertaining. That's going to be something new.
I know. I would love that.
I know. I mean, how can we go wrong with
come in, just take his call off? Come on, bitch. Talk shit to me, will you, motherfucker?
I want him to look at the camera and go, you know the devil's goddamn lie, so I ain't worried.
Oh, that
bitch.
Shit, maybe they get that devil.
Yeah, get him to do it.
Take that demon out of Leon and made him get this movie. I'm expecting when we stop this review, or demons is going to rise up. Good job, Leon. Now your soul is required in hell.
Here's your Amazon gift card like we promised.